I recently moved, and like the title said, I had to move with 100+ plants, and it was kind of a last minute move, so I had to be as quick as possible, but also wanted to make sure to keep my plants safe and sound for the journey. These are probably the most challenging of the plants to move since they are in ceramic pots and they are huge. So let's go through the process of moving the plants from the old place to here, the new place. Let's talk about the plant journeys, the plant casualties, the tips and tricks, and everything else, starting off with packing up the old place.
These are all of my plant babies. Well, not all of them. These are some of them. These are the babies. The adults are in the room. I need to pack them. I am moving out. So let's figure out how I'm going to fit them all in one box. Got a box. I think my strategy, which is something I didn't want to do, but I think I'm going to have to Marie Kondo some of these plants. I just don't think it's feasible to be moving with this many plants, especially since the other ones are in ceramic pots.
I started with the easiest task, and that was to assemble the box.
I can't do this. I'm contemplating my moving over some plants. There's been a bunch of drama with my move, okay? I accidentally packed my packing tape. I also ran out of boxes. I thought I was only going to need 5 boxes. I am on box number 12, and I think the plants are going to need 3. Oh, okay. So how am I going about this? I think I'm gonna put, I've got plant supplies up here as well. Not only do I have all these plants, I've got all the plant supplies. I think here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the new place and be like, listen, I'm sorry. My plants, they're just not letting me move. These are all my other plant supplies that I am not gonna put in here. Okay, I think the move is to just shove stuff. So I'm just gonna hammer in.
So I went ahead and just started stuffing things into the box, trying to Marie Kondo along the way.
Do I want you? No. I don't want you. Okay, I'll keep you.
The biggest issue, besides the fact that I couldn't feel my neck showing, is that I actually wanted a lot of these plants, so it's very difficult to Marie Kondo any of them.
I do want you. Oh, what happened to you?
I was also diagnosing and going through every single plant as I was going, which was taking up a lot of time, and you could see within half an hour, that's all I had packed. And I did not have that kind of time. I was moving same day within the next couple of hours.
You don't have any water.
But I can't help it. They're my babies. I have to take care of them when I see them in pain. And even when I had started to pick up the pace, I still was going through it so slowly. Like, this was after an hour's amount of work, and I think I had only filled in 1 box. Look at how much was left.
Okay.
And every time I would finish a task, I'd realize, oh my gosh, I had something else. Like, I had that soil that I had tried to reuse, and then the plant shelf and so many other things.
I got a bunch of soil that I baked because it was rotten and I want to reuse it. So I'm just going to transfer it. This is how you move your plants in 5 minutes, because apparently I like to do things last minute. Is there any way to move plants not last minute?
Honestly, I pose a good question because I couldn't figure out a way not to do it right before my move, or else the plants sit in a box for too long, or the plants will get squished because someone will accidentally see a box and think it's empty, or think that they should put it under the bottom.
That was easy.
Luckily, that was out of the way, so now I could go back to focusing on the plant shelf, which was the main priority.
Box scenario right now. I can't close it.
So I finally managed to fill in the first box, and earlier I estimated it was number 3, but I actually ended up with 4 boxes.
No, that's nothing. Okay, I'm back. It's been 5 hours. I've been packing. Okay, this time we're going to try to get the rest of these. I've got the soil. I'm not going to forget it this time. I hope. Let's build the box.
After packing the first box, I realized I was going to definitely need packing tape because I lifted the other one and I was like, without the ceramic pots, it was kind of heavy. So with them, it's going to be extremely heavy and I need the best tape. This is my first tip. Make sure that you get good supplies, good tape, good boxes, because I found out as I was moving things that these boxes will crumble if they are not supported properly, so making sure to put some sort of support inside with the plants as well. I would also make sure that the way you organize the plants inside of the box, that they are secure and they're not gonna easily tip over, because my journey was very short and I was like, you know what, let me just place them all in here. It's only a couple hours, they'll be fine. And even with it being a couple hours and with them being on top and being protected and whatnot, they still did get damaged and tipped over. I also did really like the idea of putting the soil and the supplies underneath the plants because the box is really tall and it can afford the space. And if I had the time and the supplies, I would have tried to make maybe like some sort of cardboard shelf. That way I could stack the plants. But with a lot of my plants, they were too tall anyway, so it probably wouldn't have worked for all of the boxes.
I don't know what to do with the rest.
And with that, I filled up the next box. So I, at this point, was like, you know what? I'm not a fan of my succulents. I'm probably going to just have to cut them out because I can't bring all of my plants and my deadlines are starting to catch up with me.
I've got one more box. That's it. Stores are closed. So if it doesn't work, they're going to the trash.
That's what I kept telling myself so that I would get the job done. But in reality, I would never throw away a plant. So by now you get the gist. I've got a deadline and I am just chucking plants into a box, trying to be careful, but without a proper strategy because I didn't have the time to think of one. I didn't have a proper strategy, but I was future thinking, and one of the things I thought about was not watering the plants within like 3 to 5-ish days. That way they didn't soak through the box and just mess with its structural integrity. If you watch my plant shelf clean, you know that succulent has been through a little bit of trauma, and I was hoping it would survive one more traumatic experience. And now the box is full and the shelves are looking pretty empty. However, I would love to leave these shelves, but I need to bring them because the plants need somewhere to be in my new apartment. So I had to unpack them, take all the grow lights off, and grab them. I decided that I didn't want to just toss all of these plants out, so I was only going to move 2 of the shelves and then leave the 3rd one. Now, plant shelves are fun and cute until you have to disassemble all of them and undo all of the cords and take down the glass shelves and everything else. Yeah, it was a disaster. It was especially more difficult because I had to make sure that I left the grow lights for the plants that I was leaving behind. If I had the time, I would go through and untangle everything and just gently do it, but I decided to just start ripping at cords and unplugging until everything came apart, and then I would just redo the setup for the remaining plants. Did I mention the glass shelves? Yeah, moving these was so frustrating. I ended up putting them all in a bag inside my backpack and just carrying them like a purse because I knew if I had packed them inside the box with the plants or anything else, they would have probably shattered. And without those shelves, this plant shelf is nothing. Even my camera was tired of this process because as the time went, it just kept tilting and tilting and tilting. I'm pretty sure it was propped on one of my cardboard boxes. But after I had disassembled everything, I then tried to reassemble all of the grow lights for the other plants, and as you can see, it was just not working in my favor. But eventually I solved the puzzle and went ahead and disassembled and removed all of the stuff from the second shelf, which I was going to take, and I was just going to leave a bunch of fireworks. For some reason I had those, as well as some other supplies for now, just because they weren't urgent needs and I was in a rush. And finally, everything was separated, so I could now move on to getting all of the plants to my other place. And this was me just admiring the fact that it took me a ridiculous amount of time to do this. So this is what box 3 out of 4 is looking like. So let's move on to my ceramic plants and pack those.
Alright, it's time to tackle these. I'm not packing the large ones, but I'm gonna pack. I'm already tired. It's too early for this. Where's my tape?
From my enthusiasm, you can tell that waking up at 7 a.m. to pack my plants was not something I ever wanted to do. But we make sacrifices for our children, right? So for these plants, I was going to basically follow the same steps, except for when I tape up this box, I am going to triple reinforce it because these plants are heavy. After that, I just filled the box to the brim with as many plants as possible.
These are water provocations. Is it risky to keep them in water? Probably.
You know, surprisingly, they didn't actually spill or anything, so I don't know if maybe there wasn't that much water in there or if that box just ended up being the most stable. Either way, you definitely shouldn't be keeping water propagations in water. You should just wrap them up in paper towel and then put the empty jars along with the paper towel cuttings inside the box. That's my mouse. Similar to the water propagations, I decided to risk it and just leave my Marimo balls inside of water just because they had an airtight lid. I also did nothing to protect any of my leca or stratum plants, which was such a bad idea, and I got very lucky because had these tipped over, they would have made such a big mess. I could have put them in plastic bags, wrapped them in plastic wrap, or even foil, but nah, I just decided to risk it all and put them in as is. For all of my string of pearls with hanging pearls, I made sure to wrap them around in the base, that way they didn't get crushed by any of the other plant pots. My box was starting to get full and I wanted to test out to see how heavy it was, and yeah, that was a really heavy box. This was my 4th box of plants, and for now I wasn't going to pack any of the other plants except the big ones, which I was going to bring individually. And the priority big plant was my jasmine, which was sitting outside, so I went ahead and detached it from everything because I had tied it up so that I would have some climbing strings, and then I brought it inside. To keep it from getting damaged, I did tie it up together, that way it would be more secure, but the other plant that I had to deal with that was going to be a hassle was my vanilla bean, which was attached to the wall. I was also showing off all of the plants that didn't make the chopping block, but I still wanted to keep because some of them are my favorites, so I had no idea how I was going to bring them, but I wasn't going to deal with them. At that point, I was just going to deal with my vanilla bean. So the way that I had built the vanilla bean support was that I used this little metal wire to just kind of make loops so that it could go back and forth without taking too much space, since it needs about 30 feet before it can grow a vanilla bean. So I did attach that to the shelves and stuff that were hanging from the wall. So I went ahead and just untied it, and then I was going to split the little metal bracket because I had 2 pieces connected together. After that, the vanilla bean was super wobbly, so I went ahead and just grabbed a bamboo stick and just went ahead and added it to its current support. That way it didn't just flop over. And after that, all of the plants were prepped, so I went ahead and moved them to the new place. Moving was so chaotic that I did not film any of the process except for this. This was me moving the plants up the elevator.
I made it, and I hope my plants did too. Literally nothing is unpacked. The plants come first because they need to eat. This is the space I'm working with. I think what I'm going to do first is build the shelves. You can see I already put my larger plants over there. I need to fill up all of my supplies there and then just organize everything to make sure that the plants will get the sun they need. This is south facing, but it's cloudy, and I don't know how often it's gonna be cloudy, so I might need to get micro lights. Let's move the plants out of the way and build the shelves. I think I'm gonna put the shelves against the wall. Before I had my plant supplies at the top, I'm gonna put my plant supplies at the bottom, that way the plants get more sun. Let's see if the glass shelves made it.
I started by rebuilding the plant shelf, but I noticed that all of the shelves were coated in diatomaceous earth.
2. Wait, I could just rinse them in the sink. Oh, yeah. Why is it stuck? Oh, these cuttings need water.
And water they shall not get because I forgot about them, and I forget about them for probably another day.
If I break one of these, I will cry. All right. I did all of that cleaning to try to make it look prettier, and I'm about to put the ugliest little trays.
I use these trays for bottom watering and to just catch the excess water, that way it doesn't just drip straight to the floor. I then went ahead and started adding the plants back into the plant shelf, and unlike with packing, I was able to use my creative freedoms to place them wherever I wanted.
I put these just in case. Haven't needed them, but now I'm like, if I throw them away and they're empty, and then I accidentally get another fungus gnat, I'm gonna cry, so I'm keeping them. Those need to be more aesthetically pleasing. Companies who make the fungus gnat stickers, I'm calling you out. Do better.
And similar to when I was packing, I decided I would start to diagnose my plants.
Where's my watering can? I think I'll water as I go. I packed water. That's how stressed out I was packing. This is not good.
After I dealt with my white knight's problems, I went ahead and just continued to fill the plant shelf and continued to get distracted.
Oh, you know what needs water? These guys.
I also realized that it was very dry in my new place, so I went ahead and just busted out the humidifier and just started it up.
Dusty. Okay, you're about to see the biggest crime against plants. The central heating faces where I put my plants. I mean, you can already see them blowing in the wind as if they're in a tsunami. These poor plants get one of those like little redirects. That's insane. I have to figure out how to redirect it because that is such a bad draft.
I just keep getting distracted. Can I just focus on the plants, please? They are sitting in boxes.
Our first casualty.
Okay, that's not what I meant by focus.
These are edible. Should I eat it? Maybe I'll eat it for a video.
That would have been a great video idea had I not misplaced the dang thing. But I went ahead and just kept adding plants in, slowly getting distracted and slowly forgetting my sole purpose of this video. We also had a few oopsies and chaotic moments, so I'll let you watch them.
I broke the pot. She lost a lot of pearls right there. Just a little wobble wobble. Yeah, that's not happening. Oh, I crushed a pearl. One box down. So we had a little disaster in here. Oh my goodness. Forget little. Oh, let me show you. My poor plants. Look. How am I gonna fix that one?
Yeah, this box was a mess, which is why I don't recommend stacking plants.
These poor babies. Being that these are my succulents, I'm gonna move these here. The thing is are they gonna get enough sun? Let's just see. There's a centipede in here too. How did I manage to bring these things? My baby. Ow, rude. That baby bites. I need to fix you.
Anything I put to the right was an immediate rescue, and anything that I didn't think would survive but I wanted to keep anyways, I put on the shelf.
You're not doing well either.
Some of these plants were just plants that had been rescues already, that even if I had put towards the right side for immediate rescue, would not see any results because they were just already in poor condition before the move.
Please don't be broken. Okay, it's not too broken. Let me just show you what's left in this box. Into propagating more of the cacti and the succulents that I don't want, I would clean it up. But I'm not. I'm tossing them.
I then went ahead and moved on to the next box, and here are the highlights.
I should not have taken the biggest plant out first. At least they fell into the propagating tray. I smell crushed plants. I'm not even gonna deal with you. More string of pearls. Another box down. Out of sight, out of mind. She's heavy. So this is where the challenge comes in, because these are all of my potted plants. The kiwi pear. Let me see if this fits. My syngonium definitely needs a looking at, but look, there's a string of pearls in here. Look at how many of these I have. You get a fungus gnat trap, and you get a fungus gnat trap. Did not make it. Ginger definitely I am dusted in diatomaceous earth. My little babies. They are gonna go on my desk. It doesn't. What was that? What are you? It's my air plant, which I lost the hanger for. And then my saffron. We're gonna go through and water. Last box down.
And this is what the plant shelf was looking like, but the video's not done because I felt bad for all of the plants I left behind and went ahead and grabbed them.
If you thought I was gonna leave my third shelf of plants, you were kind of right. I was planning on leaving them, but decided I would bring them. So let's unpack. First things first, I brought the third shelf. By putting this against the wall, I have now discovered that this wall is slanted, and that is pissing me off, but I can't do anything about that except accept it. So that's what I've done. Here are the glass panels. One by one, wash them and add them. In this bag, you can't see it, I've got all my plant supplies, so I'm going to try to organize those. And then, you can't see it, but they're all in a box. Ooh, she wobbles. Let me fix that. That's better. This is my box of plants along with a bunch of other stuff. I'm gonna just, come on, reuse these. Oh my god, this guy needs a repot for sure. Oh my gosh, I was looking for these all summer. Should I grow some? I have full sun. Anyways, this is the pot I'm probably putting this guy in. Don't hurt me, sir. I'm just gonna put all of my little cuttings and go up here. Also, I found out when the sun comes out and it burns. So I have to be mindful of that. I think for the rest of these, I just shove them in here and hope they survive because I'm not doing grow lights. I'm just gonna put it in here for now, along with this right now. Okay. You know what? I don't feel like dealing with this today. I think that is the new plant collection. It's not new, it's the same one, just now reoriented and in a fully south-facing window instead of grow lights. So I'm kind of curious to see how they will react.